My name is Jen, and I am on a journey in order to break free from the destructive patterns of disordered eating and in order to embrace a nourishing lifestyle. My roadmap can be described using an acronym of the word Nourisher. So I'm doing daily video blog posts in order to encourage you, equip you, and keep you up to date on my progress. If this content is helpful or encouraging to you, please consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and sharing with others. It is my deep desire that these videos would help to ignite nourishing transformations in us all. Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in for this summer edition of my Nourisher Check In, and I am feeling heavy, so heavy. I feel a little bit like a diseased tree in that you might not even know that there's anything wrong. Things look good, it's in foliage, maybe even bearing fruit, but there's like a problem at the root. I feel like the daily, normal, everyday things are really wonderful, finding lots of joy and enjoyment in, but I feel like at that root level, that core level, that inner level, just lots of stirring going on there. So thanks for being part of my journey in regards to opening up to others. I was actually even considering this week, is this helpful? Is this good to be continuing to be doing these video blogs? And just received such incredible feedback from you, the community. So I'm really super grateful for that. These posts are so helpful for me to be able to press pause, check through my day, and know that there are loving and caring people on the other side of that screen who are either journeying alongside me, cheering me on, also on similar journeys, whatever. We're all just in such different capacities. Some people dealing, yes, with eating disorder recovery. Other people totally in a healthy place, just wanting to be supportive. Other people who are dealing with mental health issues or relational stuff or whatever, and that we all just come together and can support each other through this. For me, it's so healthful and helpful, and yet, yeah, sometimes I wonder, is this the best route forward? So we also found out, I think I mentioned at work, maybe it was even a month or more ago, that we had found a bug problem. Well, that bug problem is even bigger than we expected, and I just feel so like, maybe futile is the word. Like, I feel like it's such a big problem and we don't have the resources to deal with it. And yeah, that feels real. I feel really stuck and just really, I kind of wish I could just bury my head in the sand and not deal with it. But of course that's not an option. So that also feels heavy and big. But in regards to opening up to others, that has been so key for me in dealing with so many of these emotions. Both the delightful ones have been great to be able to share those with others, and also the hard ones. Have had particularly one phone call that I can think of in the last couple of days where someone's able to hold my tears with me, which I was so grateful for. And I'm really noticing my emotions and my tears very close to the surface, which, as you know, I consider to be a growth thing for me, because typically, in the past, I haven't been able to even find my emotions, let alone my tears. So in regards to understanding the cycle, I am still just using the clock to eat. I did miss food for quite a bit of time this morning. Whenever I get into a really sad state, particularly involving lots of tears or grief processing, I really don't feel hungry. So once I realized that, hey, I've been eating for a while, I was able to get kind of back on track with eating today by the clock. So that was helpful. But of course, anytime that I've had times where I've been more restrictive, there's always a chance of swinging into more of a binge cycle. So just keeping my eye on that, but so far have not, which is just so miraculous to me and so delightful to think that, I haven't just gone into a major binge here for, 2.5, almost 3, going on almost the 3-month mark, but 2.5 months for sure, which is really, really incredible. The R in terms of rewiring my brain. So I've been able to do some dates with my daughters lately. I just felt at the beginning of the summer that I was just really device driven. And even if I wasn't on a device, I was kind of thinking, when do I need to check, or when do I need to do this work, or when do I need to, how do I schedule this kind of other stuff around being with my kids. And recently, I'm sorry if you've tried to call me and I haven't answered. I've just kept the phone away. get my computer off. I've woken up early in the morning, got some work done in the morning, and then basically have ditched the devices, and it has been so good. And, you know, I was really encouraged by Dr. Dan Siegle and his partner, Tina, is it Bryson? Sorry, I got your name screwed up. But they wrote this delightful book, and it had this idea of, you know, what kids need growing up. They look like any factors, whether it's academic or leadership or happiness or successful relationships in future. They looked at all these different possible influences to get these good outcomes. And the number one predictor for you know, children succeeding in all these different areas was if they had one adult that showed up for them. And by showing up, they kind of flesh that out in this book more, and I'll put both a link to an interview as well as the book itself down below. But they use these 4 S's. They say that the parent makes a child safe, seen, soothed, and secure. And you know, the whole thing there, it doesn't take, you know, a lot of money or any special talent, but really, really showing up in a very emotional way, to be able to make the child, you know, feel safe, that they are safe in your presence, they're safe to exist in your presence, to be seen, like truly have their emotions seen, both the negative ones and the positive ones, to have their minds sought out. And then when they do feel those feelings, whether, you know, big or small, to help them to feel soothed and to be soothed and to self-soothe and to be part of that. A child learns to self-soothe having been soothed by you, and then they learn how to mirror. It's like somebody told me once this great example of, it's like learning how to make cookies. So, you know, let's say you make cookies, your dad teaches you how to bake cookies, or your mom teaches you how to bake cookies. Well, at the beginning, you know, they're doing it all and you're kind of bringing them flour. And then eventually you're doing more, but you learn their way of doing it. But when you really learn how to make cookies, or when you really kind of solidify that learning, is when all of a sudden the parent isn't there anymore and you're doing them by yourself, and you're thinking, oh yeah, what did mom do? What did dad do? How did they do that? Oh yeah. And you're mimicking what they did. And but that's this idea. I think that's a great way of thinking about learning how to soothe or regulate emotions, is that basically our parents did that for us, or if you had a loved one, or any type of caregiver, any present adult. That's a beautiful thing. It just took one present adult in the lives of these children to have these wonderful outcomes. Was the idea that you do it kind of almost for them when they're really small, and then you do it with them, and then eventually they're able to do it on their own. So this idea of soothe is really, really key, and the key here is that the child knows internally that they never have to suffer alone. Never have to suffer alone. That's really powerful to me. And then all of these things kind of culminate in this very secure attachment where they kind of build trust in all these different elements to build security. So why am I mentioning all this? I'm mentioning all of this just as a focus for me to just show up for my kids, whether it's giving them the simple gift of my eye contact, the simple gift of my phone being off, my simple gift of just like, especially my younger two, they just rattle on and on and on. But for me to stay present with them and stay attuned and keep asking them and be interested and curious and connected, and it's been so good. And the change in my kids when I do that is just monumental. And, I guess the only person that I think is doing this kind of work to say the exact same dynamics that help them to feel safe and soothed and secure, and whatever the fourth one is that I don't remember right at the second, they work the exact same in adulthood. We need the same connection. And that's really why I totally appreciate Dr. Sue Johnson's work, because that's her whole thing, is these needs didn't go away when you grew up. You continue to have those needs and need to be able to work those out in healthy and safe relationships. So yeah, just wrestling with that and trying to give my kids the gift of that. And it's been really good. So today we were driving, my daughter and I, and she just did errands with me, and I just tried to, as I'm doing groceries, so I'm occupied, but just tried emotionally just to be hers and just to be present for her. And then we were driving home, and we were going this kind of mountain pass, and I got right behind a really slow truck, and out loud I said, "Oh no, this is a problem." And she looked at me, she goes, "Mama, this is not a problem." And she made up this whole song about the fact that this isn't a problem. This is no problem. We're just driving behind a truck. That's not a problem, you know? And I just laughed. I thought, like from the mouth of babes, or however that expression goes, like, you're totally right. Like, this is not a problem. I'm here with you. You're here with me. We're on our way home. We're driving. No big deal. We got a truck in front of us. Who cares? So, so she was just absolutely instrumental in helping me rewire my brain today. And so it's been really good to just watch them respond so differently to life when I can give them that gift. Insulin-friendly eating has been going pretty well. Like I said, a little bit tempted to be kind of backing off on food rather than leaning in at the moment. But I'm still really grateful to be able to have, what for me has been kind of a healthy, helpful guideline for eating, which is the Trim Healthy Mama approach to eating, which is what I tend to glean from most of the time. And as well as, eating every 2.5 to 3 hours, just to keep my insulin levels nice and stable. Sleep, I continue to have the same patterns, but the last few nights, excuse me, as soon as I haven't mentioned sleep, my body's like, oh, we want to do that. The last few nights I've been going to sleep a little bit later, quite a bit later actually, more, as opposed to 9:30, it's been 11:30. But as a result, I haven't been getting up in the middle of the night as much, but it's still happening. So because I am noticing that even with a later night going to bed, I'm still getting up in the middle of the night. So I think it's still worth it to try to get to sleep early in order to be more refreshed when I get up early in the morning. So still struggling in that area, but hydration has been good. And I did have a fabulous hike a couple of days ago, which was so good. I was just holding a lot of heavy emotions, and it was so good to hike them out, to be in nature, to get the vitamin D from the sun. And I packed, last time that I went on that hike with my daughter, I don't know if I mentioned, we did not bring enough water, but this time I brought enough water. So just really enjoying that outside physicality of being able to work out some of the emotions in a physical way. So exercise, that hike was great, and have been able to be very active in these late summer months, or late summer days. So I'm really grateful for that. So yeah, my reward, I want my reward to be that I can be one of these 4S type parents to my kids, but also that I can continue to build communities like this one that have these traits. And I love, as part of our journey group activity, where I get to just connect weekly with these fabulous ladies as a ministry through, it's kind of a group that's set up through an organization called Deeper Walk International. And we work on building our maturity and building our life skills and our relational skills together. And often we talk about what type of people are we, and what type of community are we, and we even use the terminology. We are people that act like this, and I love that idea of really looking at, because we've talked about so much of this journey of recovery is trying to figure out what is the authentic self and what is the coping mechanism that we've used, or I've used to try to cope with pain, or whatever the case may be. And I've got to go and pick up my daughter. But as we try to detangle the authentic self from the from the coping mechanism, sometimes it's really hard when the coping mechanism started really young. How on earth do you figure out what the authentic self really is? And so having community and being able to say, either we are a people, or I am a person that, for example, I want to be a person that creates belonging, where people feel like they belong and are valued and worthy and accepted in my presence. And if that's something that I want to be about or that our family wants to be about as part of our group identity or our individual identity, that those are things that we can build towards and build skills towards, making sure that we are achieving that. So that's exciting for me to know that my individual identity will and can continue to be more and more separated from those coping mechanisms. And I'm excited to see and to get to know more of my authentic self through the process. So I'm already looking forward to seeing you in a couple of days. I miss checking in with you every day, but I appreciate the grace that you've extended to me over this summer. And I know that a lot of you are probably already into back to school mode and that kind of thing. So my summer runs late. So I'm thinking of you as you go through that new transition, and I'll look forward to seeing you in a couple of days. Bye for now.